Hey guys, good morning. Let's do this. I hope you guys really watched that plateau video from Alana because it signifies everything that's incredible about finishing, rounding out this next week, month one of TB Mindset and getting into what she calls melting mode. And maybe like me, you've been experimenting with how much you can tolerate a little silliness here and there. Maybe you've had days where you're super consistent, days that are confusing, days that are up, days that are down. But what I did over the weekend is I really went through my tracker and I said, okay, what are the patterns that I'm seeing? What are the things that I saw that weren't silly, that were really working for me? And what days did I see general success? And then, without being super, super scientific, just really taking it all in and then being intuitive and saying, okay, what do I think looking at all of this data? And I've kind of come up with a test for this week with a breakfast I think generally works for me, a lunch that generally works for me, a snack that I think works for me, and a dinner pattern that works for me. And this week, I hope is going to be the start of melting mode. One of the most important things I also did going through my tracker was set a goal for month 2. I've lost 5 pounds in month 1. So my goal is to lose 7 pounds in month 2, taking what's already working and now cutting back the silliness a little bit. Noticing that while I actually needed more food to get to that feeling of feeling full and satisfied, to getting to that place where I got on the scale next day and I didn't feel like I deserve to see 5 pounds of weight loss today. And if I don't see it today, I'm angry and I'm frustrated and I'm resentful. Getting to a point where I have a little bit of patience and saying, okay, if I have a 5 to 7 pound goal for the month, I don't have to say I'm not being successful if I don't see 1 pound every day. And especially if you see a lot of other people who are losing like a pound and a half a day, and that might not be me. I need to be okay with that and be like, okay, that's not me losing. That's not, if I don't see 200 grams every single day, but my body seems to be jumping 1 or 2 pounds at a time in a single day, maybe. I won't know unless I'm that consistent without the silliness, without the extras, to really see, now did the data from month 1 really teach me some stuff about myself and teach me how much of it was being satisfied up here and how much of it was being satisfied physically. And taking all those days that I emotionally ate, going back, looking at the triggers and deciding that I want weight loss more than I want that immediate little bit of, release from emotional eating. And this is super, super, super important, guys, to be able to identify a few things that are working for you. And you don't have to be able to look at it and say, every time I ate spinach, I lost a pound the next day. Read over your trackers. And if you look back at your tracker and you're like, it's hard to tell, most likely you are not detailed enough in those trackers. Don't get mad at yourself. That's a huge lesson to take into month 2. The more detailed you are with your food in the tracker, the more successful you will be. And it is amazing if you are using your tracker to track your emotions, to track all sorts of private internal things that are going on, as long as you're being equally diligent in tracking your food, because that's where the success is going to come from. And one of the things I've been most resistant to is finding like those certain foods that are weight loss foods for me and then like not changing from them, because I like a lot of variety in my food. I get bored really easy. And I feel like when I eat the same exact thing every day, it sets in some sort of unrealistic expectation. Like I feel in some sort of deprivation mode, hi, Eddie, and then I feel like I deserve a big number, and if I don't get that big number, I'm like a failure, and I get that negative mindset. So again, like getting that pattern down and getting my mindsets right where I'm really enjoying this food. Because when I love something, I'm so happy to eat it every day. And it's only when I feel like what I'm eating every day, like I don't have a choice. Like this is the only way I can lose weight is to eat this food. That makes me feel super deprived. But I actually love to eat eggs every day. So I'm kind of happy to eat eggs every day as long as it's my choice. And I feel like it's something I'm excited about because I love it and they're delicious versus I can only lose weight if I have eggs for breakfast, you know? So again, like just getting into that mindset. Also realizing that the longer I'm doing this, the longer that I'm water first, veggies most. Actually, like my breakfast was huge at the beginning, and I've slowly been like filtering some stuff out. And that's been really interesting to see that like I can actually get equally full and satisfied on less as time's going on, which is amazing because you're also losing weight. So you wanna make sure that you're constantly kind of rechecking in. And making notes where if I'm not as satisfied 2 hours later, like to not cut back on that meal. So again, the more detailed you are, and also the more detailed you are also in tracking your vegetables. Like you may think like, okay, I'm tracking everything else, but vegetables are veggies most, so I don't need to track how many vegetables I'm eating. Don't do that. Really track also your vegetables because then you're gonna get a concept of really how much volume you need in order to feel full. And on another day, when you go back and look at your tracker in July and you want to see everything that happened in June, you want to know how many vegetables you were eating too so you can repeat that. So you can get more excited about that. You can get even more into and excited about the amount that you need in order to feel full and satisfied so you can stay full and satisfied so you can stay losing weight and get into this like melting mode that we want to be in month 2 and 3. And if you are just starting, because we have a lot of people who are coming in now and are excited by our progress and are coming into this process, the number one thing I can beg you to do is to track consistently. Because the more you track consistently in detail, the better your month 1 results are going to be. But really the better your month 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 results are going to be. And in Alana's coach video this week, she talked about how she went 3-4 days, like feeling like she was super on track and not seeing any weight loss. And then she did a video at the end where she's like lost 4 pounds. So again, you're not always going to get that immediate gratification, but figuring out kind of what's working and then sticking to it and being consistent and being open-minded to if you think something's working and continuing to adjust, is really, really important. And again, especially if you feel like you're not really sure what you learned from month 1, take a step back, read over every tracker, and then just intuit a little bit what you think the overall theme was and give yourself a week of being super consistent in that and see really what's going to turn it on for you. Because we get to that point where like if we don't get that immediate gratification, then we want to just go to the next fad. We're like, okay, well, she's doing this and she's doing this and she's doing this. And we never do it consistently enough to really get to know what's working for us and how we feel. So this week, it's really act on everything you've learned. And if you thought you were detailed in your tracker before perfectly, forget about it. Be more detailed. You know, check out like what mix of vegetables was I using? Exactly how much olive oil did I put in my vegetable stir fry? That was 4 cups. I see in myself, coach, I see where I could be more detailed. Okay, the more detailed we are, the more information we have, the better our success and the better we can continue to do it. And remember, no matter how much weight you lose, as Alana says, none of us are above the tracker. But the more that we track in detail, the less time it takes to track in detail. And if you really give it 4 weeks of tracking in crazy detail, it will be second nature by month 2 to track in detail. You will just automatically remember, like, okay, I had this, I had this, I had this. And you will also be much less likely to take those nips and sips and bites that are more annoying to track because you're so into tracking, you're like, oh, I'm going to have to track that. Like, it's not worth it. And I've noticed that for myself as well. As soon as I got 100% committed to tracking each bite, each taste. I'm a chef. I cook a lot. And so there's a lot of tasting going on. And again, just starting to track the tastes made me a lot more conscious and ups the results, ups the consistency, ups the mindfulness, and deciding, do I really need to taste that? Or do I need to take a bite of that? Or it's like, a lick, perfectly fine. Or it's like, a littler spoon to taste that, perfectly appropriate, et cetera, et cetera. So you can do this. We are going into weight loss mode. We are en route to our goals. We are excited. We are thrilled. We are in weight loss melting mode, guys. And it is awesome. So again, if I'm going to be eating a lot of spaghetti squash, because I actually discovered that I am obsessed with spaghetti squash right now above zucchini noodles, awesome. I'm over cauliflower rice. Personally, I am over the cauliflower rice. I found that I actually way prefer chopped cauliflower and broccoli to cauliflower rice. But I actually love it in my shake. So it's sitting in my freezer ready for my shakes, and it's just not doing it for me. It's not doing it for me. Figuring out what you're really enjoying. Bought a new spiralizer because I'm loving the spiralized vegetables and the chips and all the other little stuff. So again, figuring out what's working for you, what's worth the effort, what's not worth the effort. Things I've been buying in the grocery store that are already prepped that have been making my life much easier. Leftovers or planned foods that are making my life easier. We can do this. We can learn. We can lose. We can learn more. We can lose more. We are ready for an amazing, fantastic